It sounds like a win-win. More training for state employees so they can do more and save the state money. But some workers blew the whistle to tell us they're getting extra pay with no extra training, and they say it ends up costing all of us. Gina Mangieri is always investigating and tells us what she's found. Gina?
Joe, they're called multi-skilled worker programs, and they're being used in a handful of departments. It's higher pay for higher level work, but we're told some workers are getting the bonus and not doing anything differently. And on top of that, the state still needs the work done, but has to hire outside contractors to do it. As water pipes burst left and right across Honolulu, years ago the Board of Water Supply faced a clog in the works every time they went to fix them. So the idea of having workers who knew how to do more was born.
Employees would be trained in different disciplines, and as they would achieve different training levels and certification levels, they could see their compensation improve. So it's a win-win.
The state liked what they saw at the county agency. There are now 165 people on the state payroll in a handful of departments getting the multi-skilled worker pay bump, which comes along with detailed prerequisites for classroom, on-the-job, and certification training.
The employer could save just by utilizing in-house staff because they would have the expertise developed and the training provided to allow for internal completion of a job.
That's been the case at public housing, where the turnaround time on fixes has been slashed, getting families in need into vacant homes more quickly. But workers from another agency, transportation, came forward to Always Investigating to reveal it's not going as smoothly for them. Where did it start to go wrong?
When I first talked about getting training on other equipment, they denied it, and they just pushed it aside and said, just do whatever we tell you.
But yet, what happened to your paycheck?
I still received the incentive pay.
Without the required education?
Without the required training or classroom or on-the-job training.
Are you the only one getting this?
No, there's a lot of workers getting the pay. You have people who are general laborers, in a BC2 work pay grade, they're getting pay grade for a BC10, which would be a heavy equipment operator, yet they're not even capable of operating the equipment. So
they're paying people as though they can operate heavy equipment. Who ends up doing the heavy equipment jobs most of the time?
Yeah, for instance, when there was the tropical storm Darby, they ended up hiring contractors because there weren't enough state workers that's trained that can operate equipment. The DOT says there is so much work that hiring private contractors is not doubling up services, but ensuring all necessary work is completed. They say no one can get the incentive pay without having all the requirements of the labor contract with the union. Not yet resolved are the differentials we saw on paychecks for work staff said did not rise to the multi-skilled definition and that they're still waiting to be trained on.
The skilled worker has not received proper training, and as a result of that, they are having to pay active contractors to do the work of the skilled worker. That was never the intention of the skilled worker teams.
The Senate's new Labor Committee chairwoman is fresh off a legislative session where multi-skilled worker teams got lots of money and support.
That would make me very angry at this particular point, to hear that people had not been given the training, that in fact contract costs had been duplicated, and that taxpayer money had been wasted.
You and others are getting more money from this. Why complain about it?
It's just because it's morally wrong that we're getting paid for something that we haven't done, and it's just a waste of taxpayer money, and it's just not right.
He's speaking on behalf of two UPW skilled worker units within DOT, landscaping and highway maintenance. UPW did not yet respond to my questions, including who is responsible for the training. HGEA also represents some of the multi-skilled workers, and its executive director shed light on general best practices.
Well, really, it's incumbent upon the employer to ensure, for their own sake, frankly, to ensure that employees are getting the proper training, that make sure that they are following through with the implementation, because then they actually reap the benefits of the program. If not, then really, I guess the employees are at a loss for not getting sufficient training, and you're not going to see the longer-term salary savings.
From a higher level standpoint, we really look towards the Department of Human Resources to really be looking at this systematically. Is this skilled worker team concept working well? Are there any problems? And if so, what do you do about it? So there needs to be multiple levels of accountability.
Dee Hurd is the state's Human Resources Department, which tells Always Investigating they don't track how much or how often training happens, and that workers designated multi-skills can get the pay bump based not just on ability, but availability, and that if their manager has paid them regardless of training or work level, there's no payback provision. With bargaining underway on many new contracts, many of the skilled worker agreements are on the table. Dee Hurd said the MSW programs are temporary and subject to review prior to continuance.
Clearly something that we have to look very closely at, and very distressing to hear.
We'll follow up to see what comes of further accountability for these multi-skilled worker programs and make sure that you're not paying twice. Gina Mangieri, KHON 2 News.